Dear everyone, there's a saying, behind every successful man, there's a woman. The more you think about it, the truer it becomes. Take the case of Chen Zhi, a Chinese-born fraud tycoon turned Cambodian noble, a man who seemed to fall straight from the sky. Before the age of 40, he had already built a financial empire in Cambodia and extended his reach across the globe. Naturally, his wife must also be someone extraordinary. When the Prince Group came under investigation, Chen Zhi's mysterious wife suddenly appeared as a crucial but little-known figure. It turns out they were a power couple, perfectly matched in both ambition and cunning. But as fate would have it, even the smartest schemes can't outwit destiny. The fraud tycoon couple was eventually betrayed by their own loyal associates, a painful twist of irony. A con man outsmarted by another trickster, truly a case of a thief meeting a bigger thief. A darkly comic tale of people who rose to fortune through deception. Let's dive into the strange world of this Southeast Asian fraud king and his equally fascinating wife. To understand their marriage, we must return to Chen Zhi's roots. He dropped out of school, once worked at an internet cafe, and somehow became the godfather behind a multi-billion-dollar empire. Chen Zhi's life story reads like a Hollywood movie. Born in 1987 in Fujian, China, he was ordinary in looks, background, and education. After dropping out in the 8th grade, he worked at an internet cafe, a job most would settle for. But Chen Zhi stepped into the online underworld. In the late 1990s, as internet cafes flourished in Fujian, he began running illegal servers and selling in-game items, much like the pirated MU servers once popular in Southeast Asia. Countless gamers spent their breakfast money just to top up. Chen Zhi quickly made a fortune, but in 2009, China cracked down hard on cybercrime. He fled to Cambodia with $50,000 in cash. True to the entrepreneurial instinct of overseas Chinese, he immediately found the gold vein. Arriving in Phnom Penh, he invested in real estate, buying cheap land on the outskirts and renting to Chinese workers, earning both profit and connections. In early 2014, Prime Minister Hun Sen legalized casinos. Chen Zhi immediately renounced his Chinese citizenship to become Cambodian, since China forbids dual nationality. Around this time, as internet cafes in China declined, many of Chen Zhi's former associates were out of work. He brought them to Cambodia and founded his own outlaw brotherhood. This group became the foundation of Chen Zhi's future fraud empire. From there, romance scams, financial scams, and gambling rings spread across Cambodia, all linked to Chen Zhi, who controlled online casinos under the protection of his new citizenship. Chen Zhi knew that success required both money and influence. He opened the Prince Hotel, a hub for Cambodia's elite, and spent millions on charity. That earned him the honorary title of fraud tycoon, now known as Fraud King Chen Zhi. With wealth and power, he founded Prince Group in 2015, expanding into real estate, finance, and telecommunications. The fraud tycoon soon became Cambodia's model entrepreneur, lauded for his philanthropy and economic contributions. But behind this facade was an elaborate money laundering operation. In 2019, Hun Sen ordered a crackdown on online gambling. Hundreds of thousands of Chinese nationals fled Cambodia, and casino hubs shut down overnight. This shock forced Chen Zhi to pivot to human trafficking and forced labor for his criminal network. On the front end, owning multiple properties allowed the fraud tycoon to shelter fake police, customs, and utility officers inside luxury complexes. They built fake movie sets and orchestrated elaborate scams targeting victims worldwide. Curiously, the fraud tycoon avoided targeting Cambodians. On the back end, he controlled several local banks, channeling illicit funds through complex transactions, buying cryptocurrency and cycling it through offshore shell companies. Chen Zhi believed crypto was untraceable, but the U.S. authorities caught on. Investigators seized $15 billion in Bitcoin linked to the Prince Group, a staggering sum. For comparison, even billionaire Elon Musk holds only about $840 million worth of Bitcoin. Clearly, Chen Zhi was no ordinary criminal. And behind this empire stood his wife, Taiyun. 2 years ago, Chinese social media buzzed with photos of a stunning, wealthy, real-life fairy. Rumor had it, Chen Zhi met her at an elite party and fell head over heels. They soon married. Although Chen Zhi had renounced his Chinese citizenship, he maintained deep ties with wealthy Chinese elites. His wife's lifestyle epitomized extravagance, fine dining, luxury fashion, rare handbags, and global limited edition jewelry. Her mansion featured a $700,000 handcrafted wooden bed and nearly a 100-meter-long aquarium housing sharks, a symbol of power. She traveled by private jet, toured the world, and once spent 7 million won, or $1 million on a 24K gold-plated piano, the only one of its kind. When her horse fell ill, she chartered a private jet for a veterinarian. She never left home without 4 bodyguards and a personal photographer. But Taiyun was more than a trophy wife. She co-owned or managed multiple shell companies within the Prince Group's money laundering network. Investigations revealed the couple jointly owned the parent fund of 3 companies accused of laundering money, one being a casino subsidiary. This evidence showed Taiyun not only worked behind the scenes, but also directly managed financial flows between Cambodia, China, Europe, and the Caribbean. Some of her companies handled international transfers worth millions, likely cleaned gambling proceeds. Although she has yet to appear publicly, her name frequently appears in internal Prince Group emails and financial contracts, highlighting her crucial role. So far, there is no record of this real-life fairy being charged or sanctioned by the US, UK, or EU. However, leaks and expanding investigations raise serious questions about her true role in the fraud empire. Strangely, while Chen Zhi often appeared in public, funding projects and being praised as a philanthropist, his wife vanished from public records. Chen Zhi even transferred major financial control to her, perhaps to conceal the true ownership structure. From a tech-obsessed youth in Fujian to the godfather of Southeast Asia's shadow economy, Chen Zhi's rise was built on deceit. Perhaps he planned for the day when the Prince Group would collapse, using his wife as a legal shield. But fate caught up. Despite his meticulous planning, Chen Zhi was betrayed by his own men. In 2017, already immensely rich, he sought to invest heavily in Singapore to gain permanent residency. There, he met David Kong, a local businessman, and they became partners. Initially, Chen Zhi invested $40 million in luxury real estate. In 2018, Kong helped him set up a family office to enjoy tax exemptions. For years, their partnership thrived. Prince Group expanded globally, operating numerous bank accounts in Singapore. But in 2021, Chen Zhi discovered Kong had embezzled $45 million. The fraud king had been conned. Poetic justice indeed. Chen Zhi sued Kong in a Singapore court, but Kong claimed illness and refused to appear. When the court ordered him to repay, Kong declared bankruptcy. It seems Kong had the last laugh. Today, Chen Zhi remains sanctioned by the U.S. government. The Singapore government has frozen over 150 million SGD of his assets and revoked tax privileges for all Prince Group offices. The fraud tycoon couple, Chen Zhi and Taiyun, have since disappeared from public view. Will this power couple share their fate together? Or, as the saying goes, when the branch breaks, the birds scatter. Only time will tell. Thank you for watching this story. If you found it meaningful, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video. And now it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for staying with Societal Stories.